It's back.
We're back.
Yes, Charles.
Yes, Sophie.
This is Charlie the Hurricane Skillen, who you haven't seen. Hold on a minute. No, you were there the other day, weren't you, at the fan cam? I was telling you like 2 days ago.
Yeah, we did it seemed like longer, is it?
We did a lovely fan cam, didn't we, Charles? We were really happy with that win.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Second half particularly was very good against Brighton. First half was pretty shoddy, but look, we're getting points on the board. In the end, it was a comfortable win.
Exactly. We're super excited about this video because it's been a while, and
I'm glad you are.
Yeah, I know you are, Charles. Charles loves seeing me. He just wanted to visit. But you know, listen, January's only what, a few days away?
It is, yeah.
What, 5 days away? That's right, 5 days away. 4 days away.
I didn't know you could count.
4 days away. And you know, yeah, we obviously are in dire need of some reinforcements, aren't we? Particularly in the striker area, but there's quite a lot to talk about. So
there is.
I'm gonna grill Charlie's brain. And
this video is 3 minutes long.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're gonna grill Charlie. We're gonna see who we have, who we're most likely to get, who we're most. I mean, let's not be unrealistic here. We need to go with the more realistic signings.
Yeah.
So you can cross out the ones where we're 100% not going to get.
Yeah.
So right, let's start off with Vidal. Now a lot of you have been asking about this player. So Charles, fill us in.
Arturo Vidal, obviously very well known player. He's a world class player. Now the reason this has come up is because a Chilean journalist, Vidal's from Chile, asked Conte after the
I saw this.
Boxing Day game, I think it was, and said, look, you know, is there any chance of Chelsea signing Arturo Vidal? And he said that if he didn't say, you know, no chance, he said, if I was in a war, I'd want Vidal to come with me.
Yes.
And that was, I thought that was quite cheeky. I don't think he's like on his way to London on a plane at the minute, but it was quite cheeky. And look, it's a player that I would have loved to see Chelsea sign for a long, long time. I think he is.
Is he hinting to the board or?
Yeah, I mean he's been doing that constantly since the end of last season, really. And I having watched him play quite a bit, I think he's so perfectly suited for the Premier League. You know, he's really physical, maybe a little bit too physical. Like he's a bit, he's definitely got a red card in him, but he's fast and he just works so well. We know Bakayoko's been a little bit disappointing, and I think if Vidal would be a signing that would kind of, it's the only signing that I could see us making that would bring our team up a level, like the first 11 up a level.
Really?
And the only downside, well, the couple of downsides is that...
So you're saying he'd come in instead of Bakayoko?
For the first team, at the minute, absolutely. Look, you know, that's no shame on Bakayoko, but let's face it, he hasn't had an outstanding start to his Chelsea career.
What I want to say about that is that before Bakayoko came to us, everyone was begging for us to have him. And since he's come...
That's the nature of it, isn't it? Like, people want what they don't have, and then they get it, and then...
Yes, true, Charles. You don't know what you've got till it's gone, though, so I don't want you to complain if he leaves.
Okay, but talking about transfers, or?
Yes, talking about transfers.
God.
Charlie, my God. Anyway, okay, so Vidal, but how likely, on a scale, let's do it on a scale of 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10 in January, how likely are we to get him?
I think it's 5, because I can see why it would happen. Like he's been playing very well for Bayern recently, the last 6 weeks or so. But he had a terrible start to the season in terms of his relationship with the club. Obviously, Carlo Ancelotti got sacked from Bayern Munich, and Jupp Heynckes came back in, and he said Vidal has to improve, which he has done, but he's not indispensable to Bayern Munich. You know, he's obviously didn't come up through the youth academy. He's worked with Conte before, because obviously at Juventus they work so well together. That's why Conte said that. The other downside that I can see is Chelsea have a very, very specific profile of players that they sign, and that is not...
Is he a bit old?
There you go. That is not...
I think he's 1987. I think he was born in.
30. Look at that, Soph. Trivia. Yeah. It's a couple of years younger than you, isn't it? I'm joking.
Older, actually.
Much older.
Much older.
Much older than Sophie.
But what I'm saying is, he'd be more of a desperation buy. If we're not looking, he's not going to be a long term if he's that old. We don't go for old players.
No, we don't. This is what I'm talking about. The Chelsea profile of the player they sign is 23, 24 to get maximum length out of the deal, possibly get a big signing on fee if it was to come to that, where they would leave the club for a huge amount of money. Clearly, if we pay, you know, tens of millions for Vidal, we're not going to see that back in 2-3 years. But to be honest, I'd love to see us sign him. I think it'd be fantastic. He also couldn't play in the Champions League this season because he's already played for Bayern.
Right, there you have it, people. Okay then, and the next one, Carrasco. Now, I honestly, I don't know anything about this player, so fill me in.
Yeah, so he plays for Atletico Madrid, and he is he's a very good forward. I think we need more attacking options, to be honest. I think I wouldn't want to sell any of our other players, really. I know William's been linked with a move away, particularly to Manchester United.
Shut up, Charles.
No, it's true. Sorry, but I really don't think they'll
That'll break my heart.
I really don't think United will get William. I hope not, anyway. And
that would be such a stupid sell for us.
Well,
it'd be so stupid.
More to the point, I don't know why we keep giving them players. Like, stop it.
No
stop
more.
It. I've
got enough.
I mean, I don't want to give him Zappacosta, and he's rubbish.
Yeah.
So, but I would. I think we need more goals in the team. I think we need more. I think there's too much burden on Hazard to create. I'm not saying Carrasco would come straight into the first team because obviously it's a player that Atletico not willing to lose, but Atletico are a selling club, and he is very young and inexperienced. So I would not inexperienced, but he more fits that profile of that younger player that Chelsea buy rather than a Vidal. They're obviously very different players, but. It's a signing that I can see happening. There's been a lot of talk in Spain. There was even reports, I think it was in Marca this week, that he's on his way out of Atletico. Whether that's to Chelsea, there's a few clubs in for him. So
okay, scale of 1 to 10.
Oh, you like this, don't you?
Got to give people what they want. Scale of 1 to 10.
7.
7. Okay, that's decent, isn't it?
And
then somebody who's potentially going out. Well, I hope not. Courtois.
Thibaut Courtois.
Every Backpage Blues, every transfer window. This is a.
Well, I get asked about it so much,
Does he not want to be with us? Is that what the point
is? No. In fact, and any report that does say that is completely wrong, because Courtois is happy at Chelsea. He's one of the best keepers in the world. That's without question. The problem we keep coming back to, and it's an understandable problem. His kids live in Madrid. His life is in his life is in Madrid. He has intimated over and over again that he would like a move back to the city of Madrid, which obviously where he used to play when we loaned him out to Atletico for what seemed like a decade. And Real Madrid, the good bit of news for us at the minute, look, Courtois won't go in January. That's absolutely not going to happen. But Real Madrid are signing Atletico Bilbao's keeper, who is Kepa, and he's going to move on January 1st to Real Madrid, so they're sorted for a bit, which means they'll have Kepa and Keylor Navas. It's not impossible that Keylor Navas will go in the summer, and Real Madrid always like to have two very good keepers. Courtois will clearly be the better of those. It's known he's up for a move to Madrid. The same is true, by the way, with David De Gea, so hopefully they'll go all out for David De Gea again. But I really, this story seems to evolve so much. I mean, half the stories have got him like packing his bags, and half of them have got him staying at Chelsea for 10 years. So I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle. I think Real Madrid are well aware that he would be open to the move, and I don't think that's because he's desperate to leave Chelsea. I think that he would say, well, look, I've won 2 Premier League titles, and whatever else I have done with Chelsea, I can now go back to the city where I was very happy where my children live, and continue to be one of the world's best keepers at, let's face it, a club, a notch above Chelsea.
Do you know what I think it is with Courtois? I think we don't have to worry for the immediate future, but long term, he's not going to be at Chelsea. So, we need to start thinking ahead.
And Chelsea are already doing that. They're lining up Jack Butland as a potential one. He's good. He's good stuff. Yeah, okay. He's decent.
I take Charlie's advice.
He gets into a lot. Look, don't get me wrong. I do not want to lose Courtois. I think there's 5 world-class keepers in the world. Obviously, he's certainly one of them. And if he goes, we're not going to be getting one of the other 4. Right. So it's not a great thing.
No. Okay then. On to the next. The more unlikely, but I know a lot of you want these players. So that's Icardi and Belotti. Now we'll start with Icardi because he's a young player. He'd fit us perfectly. No.
Well, he's not that young, but
you guys want him. Loads of comments.
Yeah, of course. I think it's more about Chelsea. You have to sign a striker. I mean, I actually, unfortunately, don't really think they will.
I think the problem is for a striker, we're really in dire need of a world-class striker. Can we get somebody like in January? No, not really.
Well, the thing about Icardi and Belotti is obviously they could both play in the Champions League were they to come. Would they be happy to play second fiddle to Alvaro Morata, which I think they both would do. I think, you know, Chelsea have invested big time in Morata. They paid a hell of a lot of money for him. He's been
good.
He's been good. He's been. I'd say he's been very good. He's frustrated me sometimes, I think, and he did go on quite a long barren spell. I don't think he's been the perfect solution for Chelsea, but I think he's done a good job. But what's clear to me is we're in this ludicrous situation where he's the only traditional frontman that Conte's willing to use. And before, like, every comment in this YouTube section is saying, "What about Batshuayi?" You know, fine, I get that, and I'm not saying
it's not that we don't have another striker. It's that Conte doesn't want to use our other striker.
Exactly, it might as well be me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so, me and you up front.
Yeah.
We'd be relegated.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Good partnership.
Yeah.
So I think Batshuayi will, if we get another striker in like an Icardi or a Belotti, I think they both do really well at Chelsea, and obviously they're from Serie A, which means that Conte knows them inside out.
And to be fair though, I do feel a little bit sorry for Batshuayi because at the end of it, he's definitely fantastic with the fans, fantastic on Twitter, and at times though,
I'm fantastic on Twitter.
Yeah, but at times, especially in Atletico Madrid, scored the winner. There are times where he comes on and does there's times where he comes on and does really good things. But I think when a player's out for that long, realistically, what do you expect him to do in 10 minutes in a Premier League game? It's not going to happen. You need to either give him some game time or
of course you cannot slag off Batshuayi's goals to minutes ratio.
No,
it's I think it's probably the best in the Premier League since he's joined Chelsea. It's probably completely untrue. I'll just make it up. But I always have an issue with him when he plays the whole game. I don't know what it is. I think his general play, the general way he works with the team is subpar. Obviously, that's probably half to do with the fact that he literally never plays. So we know Conte's not a fan of him. You know, there's no point pretending otherwise. And I think if we do get a striker, he'll be allowed to leave on loan. And I think we desperately need a striker, but I can't quite see it happening, even though I'd love it to.
Okay, scale of 1 to 10, then Icardi.
Oh God, yes. 3.
3, and scale of 1 to 10, Belotti.
Another 3.
Oh God. Well, that's not really hopeful, is it?
Sorry.
Okay, and then last but not least, Leon Bailey, again, a player I don't know very much about.
So he's been very, very good in the German league for Leverkusen. The Leverkusen president actually came out this week and said they've had no bids, but we know Chelsea have been watching this guy all season, and even last season as well. He's from Jamaica. I think he's 20 years old, and he's been on the best form of his life. He's been scoring a couple of games. He's assisting. He's really tearing that league up at the minute. And I think if I had to say there's one player that Chelsea will sign in January, I think it'd be him. And look, I can't.
Where does he play? Sorry.
He's a winger.
Winger. Okay.
So I mean, look, for example, I couldn't see us signing both him and Carrasco. But I think that. And look, that'd be really exciting. I wouldn't sit here with you and pretend to be like some sort of expert that's seen him play like every game of his career.
Do you know what I think? Just what I want us to do, and because me and Charlie, we discuss these fantastic players. We discuss players that actually there is genuine interest from our club and players we know our club want. But when it comes down to it, it doesn't seem as if our board have that. Like any urgency to go out and get these big signings because they end up going to our rivals, or sometimes we even sell to our rivals and then don't get a fantastic replacement.
Yeah. I mean, look, and Leon Bailey, he might become Chelsea's best ever player, but he is not. He's not a world class player. Obviously, he's a young player for the future. I mean, and look, you know, I know everyone on Twitter seems to be like an expert on every league in the world, but I mean, how many people before this season were saying like, "Oh, we've got to sign Leon Bailey"? Do you know what I mean? Like, probably no one had ever heard of him. You know, half the people saying that we've got to get him. But what I do think is that were we to sign him, he would not come straight into the team. You could not say like we do have a very good team, despite what people have been saying this season. He would not come in and improve that first 11. But I do think it would be an exciting signing because he's been tearing it up. it goes back to mixing up the attacking options a bit, which is what I've been calling for. And yeah, I think if we were going to get someone in January, it would be a player, probably Bailey, but a player of that profile to kind of strengthen the squad rather than, you know, dramatically change the way we play.
Okay, scale of 1 to 10.
7.5.
Oh, okay. That's a little bit more hopeful, isn't it? Okay, so there you have it. That's Backpage Blues. We hope you all enjoyed it. Comment below, who do you want in January and who do you think we're most likely to get? Because let's face it, there's a lot of people that we would love to have at the club, but in a January transfer window, we're probably limited to the amount of options that we can get. Anyway, comment below, who do you want in January, and we will see you all super soon.
Happy New Year.